but serves a purpose.
All right, let's begin. It's a really good conversation about laptops, and I love talking about this kind of stuff, and I could keep talking forever and ever. So I hope we get to talk more about it. But let's start this second class. Last week we talked about a lot about the basics of Zoom, how to mute yourself, how to view everyone in the gallery, how to view just one person, how to make it so one person stays and is pinned onto your screen, even when someone else is talking. Because normally when someone else is talking, that other person just automatically comes up on your screen each time. We went over a lot of basics. This week, I want to go over a lot more about what my setup looks like on my computer on Sundays. And in the process of that, we're going to learn a lot about general tips and tricks and how to use Zoom to screen share, to share your screen, to share your sound, your music, all that kind of stuff, okay? So I had sent out a little screenshot weeks ago about like what my big monitor looks like, and I'm going to be using that as a demonstration. Note that all that I'm showing you can be done on just a laptop screen, but I just want to show you what it looks like now, because I will say it is a lot easier to do this if you have a second monitor. But again, it's possible for just your own laptop, one laptop screen to do it. And I'll try to demonstrate both. So we'll take like half of the time to show what it's like, and the other half of the time just to invite questions and discussions about this kind of stuff and about a lot of other things on your minds, okay? So first, we're going to talk about screen sharing. On the bottom of your window, on your Zoom window, there's a green button that says screen share. I have allowed, for this meeting, I've allowed anyone to be able to screen share. Normally, it's only me who's able to screen share, the host or co-host. But go ahead and press that button and take a look. Don't actually screen share, don't actually confirm it, but just press the screen share button and take a look at what it says. You'll see a lot of little boxes. Screen 1, screen 2, whiteboard. If you have other programs open, it'll also say other programs. Like for me, I have my Google Chrome browser is also another option there. Screen 1, other applications. On the bottom right corner, you'll see the word share.
Nope, I don't see it. My iPad doesn't show it.
That's okay.
It's too small.
If you tap your screen, maybe it'll show you. Again, just like last week, I'm not as familiar with what it looks like on phones and tablets, but
tablets have the screen. You have to tap it. You just have to tap it, and it'll show up on the bottom.
Yeah, tap your screen, and then all the buttons will show up.
iCloud Private, Google Drive, Bookmark, Whiteboard.
Yeah.
I got a menu coming down.
Yeah, that's what it is. You got it,
Oh.
Gloria. That's what it is.
Desktop 1, white.
But what do I press now that the menu came down?
Nothing right now.
Wait for Thomas,
Oh, okay.
Gloria.
So I'm gonna screen share my monitor, my big monitor, and let me screen share my big monitor. What do you guys see?
Sunset.
Sunset.
Okay, good. You don't see people's faces. Okay, there's no Zoom window. Good. Okay, so this is my desktop, completely blank and empty.
I see.
You guys can close your own screen sharing dialog.
I see a nice sunset.
Great.
I see Herman's background picture.
Great. I'm gonna open the folder, and this is
Gloria now because she's talking.
Okay, let me move this out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I see Jerome.
See you, Jerome.
See Susie.
It might be a little small because my screen's really wide and it might have to shrink to fit in your screen, but this is gonna be kind of the layout of what I do on Sundays. I have the song files. I have 4 song files. Let me see if I can make it real big. Okay. I got song files, these little orange cones, and I have PowerPoint files. So typically on a Sunday, we have multiple songs. So I use a media player to play the songs. I'm gonna double click on one of them and let it load. Should be loading. Okay, it's loading.
You have to change it every week?
I do adjust it according to what songs are done that week. So let me also share my sound. So this music file, I'm gonna play it just for a few seconds. This was a prelude a few weeks ago. So this is my media player. It's called VLC. Your computers have built-in media players. What I like to do is I like to shrink it. Let's say we have multiple songs in a Sunday. Let me bring up a second song. I'm gonna pause it. I'm gonna bring up a third song. I'm gonna pause it. Cool. So the way I do it is I have my songs. I just put them in order on the side. Like this, 1, 2, and 3 on the top right corner of my screen. So that when the song needs to be played during service, I'll just go ahead and press the play button. And then when the song ends, I might put it away and I minimize it so it's kind of out of my screen so I don't accidentally start the same song again. The second song time comes on, I start the second song. And then when that's done, get it out of the way, I now know I have one more song left, etc. So that's how I set it up. Some people that use Zoom on Sundays like to have one application open with all 3 songs just in order and just double click one and double click the next one to play. But I like to have them as separate applications so I can kind of visually, a little bit more better visually see it and kind of visually dismiss it away. One thing to remember to note, for media players, make sure you turn off a few options like looping, which means that when a song finishes, it automatically starts again. Make sure you turn that off. Make sure you turn off automatically going to the next song. If one song finishes, it'll automatically start playing the second song. That's not what I want for our Sunday service. So when the one song ends, it doesn't keep playing any more sounds after that. So make sure you have those options adjusted. So that's how I do my.
Say that again.
Yeah,
You
make sure you have.
cutting off.
Sorry. Make sure you have loop off and next automatically go to the next song. Make sure that is off too, so that when the song finishes, it doesn't automatically play itself again, and it does not automatically play the next song.
Mm. So,
I'm gonna, yeah, questions.
yes, I have a question. So, people recorded the song and sent it to you to put into your media player, is that right?
That is exactly correct. So a little bit more on the background, which is very important.
You're cutting off.
Ooh, I'm sorry. Am I cutting off for anyone else? Or is that my smooth
cutting
for
off.
other people? Oh, that's my bad. How's my internet doing?
There's no sound.
Your picture goes still.
Hmm. Let's make sure my internet speed is okay. Okay, my internet speed is fine. By the way, I'm checking my internet speed. I'm gonna share my screen again. I use some websites. Sometimes, like if I'm not sure what's going on, I use my browser and I go to different websites like fast.com or speedtest.net to check if my internet is doing fine. My internet is doing fine. Maybe,
Screw up.
maybe it's my laptop that's not able to handle something going on. I don't know. But I'll talk slower and just let me know if I need to repeat anything. So Susie had a really good question. How did I get, what's the background behind these music files? The musicians of our church recorded during the week and they send me a file by the end of the week before Sunday morning. So I don't have to worry about creating it. I just have to remember to download it from the emails that they send me.
Oh, just through
You're
email?
smiling
regular
right now.
email?
Just through email. They send it to me through email.
Hmm.
There's a variety of ways to send files, but right now we use email. That's the one that works best for everyone.
And then how do you get to that screen that you play, that you deposit your songs and the power coins?
Good question. So as I get the emails, the emails will have an attachment, a song file, and I download that into my computer. So then I just open up the files in my computer and I find the songs and open them up and load them and have them ready. Sometimes I try to organize them. Maybe I'll rename the song files. I'll have a number 1 in front of the first song and a number 2 in front of the second song so that they're automatically ordered accordingly. Sometimes I might just take those files and put it in a new folder separate from all my other unorganized files. Sometimes the musicians might be sending me songs in different file formats. Hopefully they're by MP3s, which is a very general music audio format. Sometimes they record it and send it to me in other file formats, .m4a, .mov, .w. There's a variety of them. I like to use this media player called VLC. It looks like that orange traffic cone. One thing about VLC is that it's able to play almost any media file. That's how it advertises itself. So that's why I like to use that one. No matter what audio file they use, it works in VLC media player. So if you get a file in your work, in your school, and like, my MacBook cannot play this weird audio file, my Windows or Chromebook cannot play this weird audio file, use VLC and I almost guarantee you it'll work.
So this is something we can download?
Yes, there's a program you can download for free when you search it up online.
Just search for VLC.
That's right, VLC. It'll be the first thing that shows up.
I like free stuff.
My favorite price.
Anything that I can download for free is good.
I'm going to share my screen again. So that was all about the audio. Now we're going to talk a little about the PowerPoint and what's being displayed and shown during services.
Yeah, this is the screen. Yeah.
So this
How-
PowerPoint, this PowerPoint is something that me and I design and work on each week. We put in the words, we label them accordingly. The order of the service, like which song comes first, and then who's giving this message, and then what's the Bible verse, that's something that Rita and Jake let me know about. So I don't have to I don't have to figure out what order everything goes in. Someone tells me the order. And I just put the PowerPoint slides in the right order, and me and I create them accordingly. Okay. So this was 2 Sundays ago when we had youth share. Question.
Can you make the demonstration bigger?
Yes. Is this helpful? My screen,
Yeah.
because of my really wide screen, it kind of shrinks down on your computer.
Yeah, that's good.
But this will help.
Better.
Great.
Yeah.
So someone will be making these PowerPoints for you.
Yes. Yes. Well, no, I make the PowerPoints and Aini also makes the PowerPoints. In the future, if someone else is helping run the PowerPoint on Sunday, it could still be me making the PowerPoint, and then I just send someone the PowerPoint file and they get to display it. They don't have to worry about creating the PowerPoint. So these are all separated tasks that can be combined into one person, or it still can be separated. I don't have to make the music. Someone makes the music, it sends me the file. I do make the PowerPoint slides, but sometimes someone else makes the PowerPoint slides and I present it. I can make the PowerPoint slides and someone else can present it. So all these are kind of separate tasks to notice.
Now, this is not actually Microsoft PowerPoint, right?
This, what I'm showing now specifically, is indeed Microsoft PowerPoint.
Oh, it is. It looks so different.
Not everyone has Microsoft PowerPoint because it's not always a free included application. There's a lot of other ways to still have a PowerPoint file shown for free, such as Google has their own version of PowerPoint. There's other programs that can take PowerPoint files and still open them up in a different way, but still show it as a PowerPoint file. I can save all these slides as PDF in one PDF file, which other people can open for free and just display like a PowerPoint slideshow. But I use PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint, because 1, I do have it, and 2, it does have controls that I'm familiar with. But if I also use any of the other free alternatives, it's possible, and I just have to learn those other controls. Where's the other buttons instead?
So this won't work quite well with an Apple computer.
It will work just fine with an Apple computer.
Mm.
Apple computers can install Microsoft PowerPoint if you have it. Again, some people you have to pay for it. Apple computers also come with their own version of a PowerPoint presentation software called Keynote, I
Yes.
believe. So then if I give you a PowerPoint file, you can open it in your Keynote software on an Apple computer and just display it the exact same way.
Mm.
So as we talk about the word PowerPoint, what we mean is a slideshow software. And it's become so ubiquitous, kind of like Kleenex is for tissue paper. We just say PowerPoint for slideshow software. So a variety of software can display slideshows. I just call them all by PowerPoint, and I am specifically using PowerPoint. Your questions? Cool.
How do you get the Chinese characters on?
Good question. These Chinese characters for the lyrics, those are also provided to me. Tracy, our church secretary, does give me the lyrics in English and Chinese when necessary.
And
So
how do you,
Go ahead,
So-
Dennis.
that's okay, continue, Tom.
Yeah, so Tracy will get the song. Someone will tell Tracy, we're gonna sing Here I Am to Worship. And then Tracy would look online or look in her music books and then type out Chinese for the lyrics or something. I don't know how she does it. Or maybe someone has provided a link to her that's from an online webpage that already has the Chinese words, but she somehow is really good at this, but she somehow gets the Chinese words, sends it to me in a file, and I just copy and paste them over, just like the English words.
Mm.
Does that answer your question, Dennis?
Yeah,
Uh,
one more
Yes,
question.
Thomas, thank you.
Does Microsoft or Samsung computers or other computers have the function of writing on the computer to get the Chinese words?
That's a good question. Does your laptop have the ability to write in Chinese? Yes.
Yes.
It'll be a bit more complicated. I personally don't know how to write in Chinese or have not needed to. There may be ways built in to write in Chinese. There may be more programs for free that you download that are specifically for typing stuff up in Chinese. Sometimes I'll just use a translation website and then I'll just copy and paste whatever translation it is. Or if it's a song, I might look up online, what is Here I Am to Worship in Chinese lyrics? And I'll just copy and paste that from online, from Google Chrome or whatever. So yeah, I don't have to worry too much about creating them. Someone else does that, luckily. But if I had to, then I would probably have to just search it online and copy and paste it over.
Yeah, there are applications that allow you to type in Chinese or type in characters.
Great.
It's just not very easy to do if you don't know Chinese, right?
It's impossible.
I can fake some of it.
Okay, so in the future week, I do want to go a lot into how I create these PowerPoints in a most efficient manner. But today I want to focus on, again, what it looks like on Sundays. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's say I already have my completed PowerPoint. I'm going to start this is the file. This is a little bit of background on PowerPoint. This is the PowerPoint file. This is where I can start editing things, but then I need to start presenting it. I need to start showing it full screen. So I'm going to go and start a slideshow. I can go to slideshow, start from beginning, or I can press F5. I'm going to press F5. Okay. So I press F5. You guys see two screens side by side. Chinese Congregational Church, Prelude, Knowing You. This is what it looks like when you have two monitors. This is one screen. And let me show you the other screen. This is my other screen. All you see is just a full screen of one slide. What you're seeing now is the actual presentation screen. This is the one that everyone sees. I'm gonna go to the next slide, next slide, next slide, next slide. This is the only screen that everyone sees. This is physically my laptop screen only. This is my laptop screen everyone sees. I'm gonna show you my monitor again. This is what I see also separately from my laptop screen. So this what you're seeing now is the behind the scenes screen. I'm gonna press next slide. Next, I'm gonna press next slide, next slide, next slide, next slide, next slide.
Mhm.
So what you see on the left is the current screen. What you see on the right is the next slide. So it kind of helps give you an idea of what's coming up next.
Mhm.
This is called in PowerPoint, this is called presenter view.
Presenter view. Oh,
Presenter view, as opposed to only seeing the slideshow only. This is a secondary screen that gives the presenter information, what's being shown right now and what slide is about to come up next. So if I'm a presenter and I'm reading this in Chinese, I know that this is the last slide of reading in Chinese because I can see on my right side, the next slide is about the testimonies that someone's about to share. So I know that I need to conclude and say, okay, now we finished this and now we're gonna do that. We're gonna go to hearing from youth members and then show the next slide. So that's what presenter view is for.
Mhm.
On the top right corner is still the same controls in Windows: minimize, restore. I'm gonna make this a smaller window. I'm gonna resize this down. And you see what's behind it is all the same stuff going on. I have on the top right are my music files. This really big one is that original PowerPoint file that I can make edits to. And in the middle is the actual thing that controls what's being shown on my laptop screen that everyone else is seeing. So for Sundays, I have all of these open. I have this one here on my corner. I have the presenter view. Oops, I put it in this corner. And then I have, do you guys see a gallery view of Zoom in the middle of the screen now? And I have this gallery view in the middle of my screen. So this is 99% of what I am looking at on Sundays. I'm monitoring everyone on Zoom. I'm watching if someone accidentally unmutes themselves and starts making noise, and then I can tell people to unmute, etc. On the side, we talked about that last week, all these controls. On the middle, I see everyone. On the top right, I have all my music files ready to go. On the left side is the PowerPoint files, behind the scenes PowerPoint files. Physically below this is my laptop screen where I see what everyone else is seeing. Optionally, I also have a second laptop. This is my personal laptop that I put next to it so I can kind of understand what's being, again, a little bit more on what's being shown and what's being heard from an audience, because this one is technically the same as everyone else, the audience people. So I would also have that. So I have, so again, let's look back on the left half of the screen. I have these two PowerPoint files open. Again, the bottom one is a presenter view that controls the actual presentation. The top one is the original file. And why do I have both of these open? Because later on, let me go to over here. Here's a really good trick. In your presenter view window, you can go to next slide, next slide, next slide. There's this little button that says see all slides, a whole bunch of squares. I'm gonna press this button and I can see all the slides and I can skip straight ahead to this slide, for example. I'm gonna put these side by side. So I'm gonna have this here on the right side. So the reason why I still keep this editing slide open is because I need to start typing in stuff. As I make changes to this original file, it's constantly being updated in the presentation on the right. So that's why I have both of these open. If I need to make edits last minute, like, oh, we need to, this is not Alleluia, it's actually hallelujah, or something silly like that. No one really cares about that. Hallelujah, you know, I can make those changes on the fly using the original file open over here. Some more advanced stuff. I have another program installed on my computer where I can make things resize exactly where I want them. So I'm gonna activate my program, and then you'll see these kind of 3 translucent boxes. I'm gonna drag this one to the top left, and you'll see this translucent box is a little highlighted blue. I'm gonna let go, and it snaps exactly there. This presenter view, I'm going to snap it to the bottom right corner, and it's resized perfectly exactly where I want it. If I wanted to, this one can fill up all the remaining space, but I actually like to leave it a little bit smaller to leave some space on the side. Something I also like to leave on the side is the chat window, because sometimes people are saying something, sometimes people are privately messaging me, hey Thomas, we don't hear the sound, or hey Thomas, can make sure you do this before the offering or something. So I also like to leave the chat window open with all the space. So, and again, this is what it looks like on my laptop screen, which is what everyone else sees. Okay.
What did you use to snap it?
It is a software called Windows Power Toys. It's a free program for Windows called Windows Power Toys. There's a few different programs, but I found this one to work the best. Remind me later, and I'll send out a link to that one. But that's really helpful because I have a really big monitor. That's why it's so helpful for me. If it was just my laptop screen, there's a lot more easy ways to do it. Here's a really good tip and trick. Let me show my laptop screen again. Let me press escape, get out of here. Okay, so let's say I have some windows. Oh, come on, move over.
That's pretty.
Okay, let's say I have some windows like this one, my PowerPoint. Built into Windows is the ability to automatically snap it to different areas of the screen. So like for this one, I'm gonna drag it to the right half and I let go. I'm gonna drag it to the left half and I'm gonna let go. I'm gonna drag it to the top right, I'm gonna drag it to the bottom right corner and let go. So built into Windows 10 are ways to make it fill up half or fill up 1/4 of your screen. Let me see if I can do that with this chat window. Oh, sweet, cool. So I have my chat window here. I have my Zoom. Maybe I want my chat window here, and I want my Zoom window over here. And yeah. These are ways to make that work.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
If I don't have a massive monitor and only have my laptop, what should the setup be, or what is your suggestion for your setup? Because I don't think most of us have a 32-inch monitor at home.
If you have a second monitor, it can just be 19-inch, 20-inch. If you have a TV, you can connect your laptop to a TV using the right cable. But this is going to be the next part. How do you fit all this into one laptop screen? All right, let me reset my layout of everything. And now I'm going to show my laptop screen. Okay, this is my laptop screen. Okay, I got the PowerPoint file. I got my music files. They're there. They're there. They're there. Okay, maybe let me get my taskbar down here. Taskbar, so maybe you guys will have a taskbar along the bottom like this. Okay, you're seeing my laptop screen, right? Right. Okay, so I will go ahead and start the slideshow. There's another button to start the slideshow. So I start the slideshow, and it's taking up the full screen, and that is difficult. So one way I could do it is, let's say, let me go to a song slide. Okay, we're in the song. We're about to start the song. Here I am to worship. So here's the simple way to do it. I'm gonna I'm gonna be sharing my screen and I'm gonna bring up my song file and then I'm gonna play the song and then switch back to the PowerPoint. And then as the song plays, I'm controlling the PowerPoint, just going through the next slide, next slide, next slide, next slide. So that is a very simple way to make this all work. Show the PowerPoint, switch over to your media player and start the song, switch back to your slideshow. Or
When you say
yeah.
When you say switch, all it means is you just play it and then one just covers the other.
Exactly. I use the hotkey Alt Tab to quickly switch between different programs. Alternatively, maybe I can starting the song file and then starting the share screen so that you guys don't see that I have my song file up, but all you see is the PowerPoint.
So
That's
right
one
now, are
way.
you sharing your screen or are you sharing the PowerPoint only?
Right now, I'm sharing my entire screen. And you're
Yeah,
bringing
but
up
during service.
yes, and that's okay. And hey, if you see a little bit of the behind the scenes just for a split second, that's okay if that's what I'm able to do. For the majority of the time, all you see is the PowerPoint. Once the music starts and I switch back to the PowerPoint, you're gonna see the PowerPoint. And then for a split second, you might see, for the next song, you might see the media player again, just for a split second, and then just go through the PowerPoint. This is one way to do it in the most simple way possible. But you're not gonna see a whole bunch of other stuff, like you're not gonna need to see like all the files going on and everything, because I already have all my music files ready over here. And I know that I set it up so that it plays the song and it doesn't keep playing. So as I finish the PowerPoint slides, the last lyrics, I know it will stop playing. I don't have to worry about it continuing playing. Here's another way to do it. I'm gonna share screen. Remember earlier, we all practiced pressing the green button, share screen button. Instead of sharing the entire screen, let me show this. Okay, you guys see all the little boxes here? Screen 1, screen 2, you probably won't have a screen 2, but now you can see all these little applications too. So I'm just gonna press only the PowerPoint. So now all you see is the PowerPoint file. Right now I have a music player in front of the PowerPoint file, but you don't see it because I told Zoom to only show the PowerPoint file. Don't show anything else on the screen, even if something comes up in front of it. I'm actually let me move my PowerPoint file. Do you guys still see the PowerPoint file? Oh no, screen sharing, share. Let me share the PowerPoint file again. Okay, you see the PowerPoint file? I'm gonna move if you can also look at my camera. Let me turn my laptop around. Look at my camera. I have my PowerPoint file, but I have another window on top of it, but you don't see it on the screen share. You don't see the chat box in the screen share. You only see the PowerPoint file. So in this way, I can start the PowerPoint. I can bring up the music file, but no one's gonna see me bring up the music file. I can start the music file and I can go back to the PowerPoint to control the PowerPoint, and no one's gonna know that I was switching between different applications. So that's something that is like a little bit more advanced, but it makes it go so much smoother. If I was using one screen, that's how I would do it. But if I'm not able to do that, at least I can just share my entire screen, just bring up the media player for a split second and press start playing the song and then go back to the PowerPoint. And that's okay too.
Is there an equivalent for media player in Apple's computer?
So for Apple,
Just download that VLC, right?
Apple computers have a built-in media player. Windows computers have a built-in media player. Both Apple and Windows can download additional media players. VLC works, there are VLC downloads for both Windows and Apples.
Okay.
Just in case your Apple computer cannot play a specific file. But most of the time, our musicians are sending them as MP3s now. So it generally works with your built-in media player.
Mm.
Again, your media player might have it in one playlist of 3 songs instead of 3 separate instances of the media player, and that's okay also. Great. So you guys saw how I generally set up my second monitor for Sundays and how I have the music ready, how I have the PowerPoint editable, how I have the presenter view PowerPoint, how I have the actual slideshow on my laptop screen, and now how I have Zoom in the middle of my screen and a chat box on the side. You guys also saw if I was using just one laptop screen, how I would do it. It would just be, I would have start the full screen slideshow, and I would say, share just that application. So then I can bring up my media player, start the song, and then go back and control the slideshow. Or I can just share the entire screen and just show exactly what I'm doing behind the scenes. And that's okay for church service.
Excuse me.
So I want to invite any other thoughts and questions in the last 15 or so minutes of our class today.
Thomas,
Questions you have. Yep.
if I have a second laptop, can I use it as a monitor?
If you have a second laptop, you can use it as a second monitor, and it gets pretty complicated from there.
Okay.
You should just have 2 sessions. You should just have 2 sessions. One laptop you use to control your presentation, and the other one to validate what you're doing, or to see the people, to see the grid of who's participating.
That's what I do. I use my second laptop to validate what's actually being shown and heard. But Dennis, your question might be, can I use a second laptop as a second screen so I can have all my programs laid out and be able to freely drag things back and forth and be able to share everything like yes. How I'm doing with my second monitor.
I had 2 monitors when I worked at Sunset. One was the working monitor with all the tools. And the second one was what I was actually, the final product, working.
Yeah.
But can you do the same thing with 2 laptops?
Great question. I have a few answers. One, you can set up 2 separate laptops as if they were connected together, as if they're 2 monitors connected to one. And you have to use remote control software, where you're using one laptop and you're controlling into another laptop, and then just having that pretend to be a second. That gets a little complicated, and I wouldn't suggest that. Here's another really cool thing you can do. I forgot about this till now. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. This is my laptop screen. Built into Windows and also Mac is a digital way to have multiple screens. On my top right corner, you can see desktop 1 and desktop 2. So now I have desktop 2. This is still on the same computer. I have desktop 1 and desktop 2. I'm actually gonna do a little cool thing, and it's gonna kind of visually, what am I doing? Visually be able to tell. It's as if they're 2 monitors side by side. MacBooks can do this too. So this is a really, really good idea, actually. I really like this. I'm gonna go to my desktop 1. I'm gonna have my media players over into desktop 2. So then desktop 1, I have my slideshow. I'm presenting my slideshow, and maybe I'm screen sharing, not my screen, but this PowerPoint file, and I can go over to my second desktop, a digital representation of 2 monitors, and start my music and go back to the slideshow to control the slideshow.
So how do you get the 2 monitors again?
Yeah. So on at least for Windows, near your start button is a little button called Task View. If you don't see it, you might have to right click on your taskbar and then show task view. Show task view. Press this button and it kind of gives you a little kind of representation of what's going on. Desktop 1, desktop 2, you can add 3 desktops, 4 desktops, 5 desktops. Some people use this to visually organize their workflow. We can also use this to digitally organize the programs we're simultaneously using. So I'm going to start this music file, and I'm going to go back here. So this is all in the task view.
Thomas, is
Yes.
there something similar for MacBook?
MacBook also has this similar function. I don't know what it's called, but there's also a similar function to this where you're kind of going to a separate digital kind of desktop monitor.
Hmm.
In addition to the
On the
task
Mac-
view button, you can press Windows Tab. Windows Tab
Okay.
on your Windows can also do the same thing. Go ahead, Jerome.
So on your MacBook, if you open up a window to full size,
Hmm.
that actually creates a new desktop for you. So every
Oh.
time you open up something full size, that becomes another desktop. So you can actually use, I think it's 2 fingers to scroll, 2 or 3 fingers on your pad to basically move between the different screens.
Oh, okay.
Then the other option that I know of, because I'm pretty absent-minded and can't remember things, is I use my my iPad as a second screen.
Hmm.
So you can actually get a cable from your MacBook or your Windows box and plug it into your connect your iPad to it. And
Mm.
there's a software called Dual, I think it is.
Can you repeat that again, please?
I think it's Dual. I got to look it up again. I haven't used it for a while. That basically, I think it's $10, and that allows you to install it on your iPad and your MacBook or your PC, and that automatically, once you plug in the iPad, it actually starts up and says you can share your screen to that.
Oh,
So
okay.
I cannot remember what was on one screen without seeing both of them at the same time.
Mhm.
Just remember though that the iPad is going to be very small,
Mm.
but it is
Mhm.
something you can use.
Mhm.
That's a good point. iPads can be used as a second screen for Windows if you have special software. iPads can be used as a second screen for MacBooks, Apple laptops, built in. I believe it's built in now to their software. You can have your iPad as an automatic second screen, physical screen.
You can also use your TV as a second monitor, and you can just drag another desktop screen onto that one, and it'll be huge. So you got 60-inch TV, you can see yourself bigger than you are.
There was one Sunday I was traveling for work and I had to stay at a hotel. So I made sure to bring a cable to connect my laptop to the TV in the hotel room. And then I did a Sunday service using that.
That's what I do every Sunday for my parents.
Yes,
I bring
you
my
do.
laptop over and then connect my laptop to their TV, so everything's big for them. They
And
can't
you
really
using
see.
the HDMI cable?
Yes,
Is
Yeah.
that Jerome?
yes.
Okay.
If
So
you don't
do
have
you
a
plug it
TV,
in?
don't go out and buy an iPad. You can go out and buy a small monitor or ask someone, and someone will have an extra monitor to lend you for free, or just use your own laptop.
Yeah, I got a lot of monitors lying around. So you need one, just tell me.
Yeah.
Jake does too.
I have the extra TV, but then I have to have it, hooked up in order to use the screen. Yeah.
Hopefully these are a lot of really good tips in not just in doing Sunday services, but in other things that you need to present for your online organizations, hangouts with friends, things like that. Now you know how to share a screen, how to present PowerPoint files, how to have music files at the ready, how to be able to go between different monitors, either two physical monitors or two digital monitors.
Is Google Chrome a free app that you can get on the computer, or you have to pay for it?
It is a free app to search, to go on the internet and look at websites.
Oh, okay. Because it comes up on the screen and says use Google Chrome, and then somebody said that it's good. So I was afraid that, oh, if I click it on, they're going to charge me an arm and a leg.
It's
No,
good.
they would tell
Be
you.
very careful of links on the internet.
Yeah.
Don't fall for scams, but Google Chrome is okay.
Okay. Yeah. And my friend had to come over to help me get onto a Zoom exercise class because people are telling me that that it is invalid email. So then we have to sign up for it. And so when I went to the sign up point, then I saw almost the same thing that you had, Thomas, when I clicked on the Zoom. It had the join and all the, I said, oh, that must have been the right thing that we did. Yeah. Okay. So
one last thing that I remember about sharing screen, if you want to press the screen share screen button, the green one, everyone take a look at that. Let me see if I can share my screen. Go ahead and
the one that says share content.
yeah, let me set up something real quick.
When I open it, where's the place that says share only this one screen that I want?
Yeah.
That you talked about earlier.
So Edmund, so take a look at this one. This white box is my share screen window. I have screen 1 and screen 2 because I have 2 monitors. I also have individual applications because I have them open. What's your question, Edmund?
Now, you had mentioned that if you only want to show that one screen rather than the whole thing,
yes,
you would click the one that says share this screen only.
That's right.
Where is that share this screen only button?
Yeah, so on the bottom half of this one, I have these 3 things which are specific applications. One of them is my browser, Google Chrome. The middle one is PowerPoint, and the third one is my File Explorer.
Yeah.
So if you have
I think Edmund's looking for a button. I don't think there's a button, right, Thomas?
Yeah, there's no specific button, but you're choosing just an application instead of a screen.
Oh, so you just pick one screen and that's the only one that will show. That's
Right.
what you're saying.
I'm picking only one application, and only that application will show, no matter where I move it, no matter if I move other applications on top of it.
Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
Good question. What I wanted to also note is on the bottom left corner, there's these 2 check boxes. These are very important. Share computer sound. That's important because if I play sound from my laptop, that allows it to everyone hearing this sound, those music files. A lot of people, so I forget this sometimes. I'll start sharing my screen, I'll start playing the prelude, and I'm listening to it, and then someone texts me, Thomas, we don't hear the prelude. And I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to turn on my computer sound, which is another reason why it's helpful to have my second laptop, because this will tell me if I'm actually hearing the sound that everyone else should be hearing.
Yeah.
The other checkbox is optimize screen sharing for video clip. This is really good if you're sharing a video. Let me explain. By default, if I'm sharing my screen, it shares a screen maybe once every second. It kind of refreshes and shares what's on my screen once a second. But if I'm playing a video, I'm going to turn this, I'm going to play a video. I'm going to share this screen. I'll play this video. And I'm going to turn off the sound, but you're going to see it kind of slowly go to the next part of the video. You're not seeing it smoothly. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, optimize screen sharing for video clip. And now it's Zoom, it knows that you're trying to show a video, so it kind of shows you the video, the screen a lot quicker. And now you see a much smoother video. So if you're ever trying to share a video, make sure you have this, make sure you also have that second checkbox ticked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna turn on the sound a little bit.
It's a church on a rock. Mont Saint-Michel is a medieval time capsule.
Yep, so those are two little extra little things to take note about when you're screen sharing for church or for other things.
So you keep the sharing the sound, the first one on.
Yeah, I
and then
generally
you have
keep
the
that on.
video.
Yep,
Okay.
that's very important and necessary on church Sundays because I am playing the
Mhm.
music files.
Right. Okay.
But in other meetings where I have to also show a video, I make sure that second checkbox is there also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cool. What other questions do you have or comments?
I was
Just go-
curious. I was curious about how you design the slide pages on PowerPoint. I noticed that when you do the slides, the design that goes around the words and the photos changes from week to week. Last week you did one that had all these kind of like cubist abstract lines going around
Yes.
the images. Where did you find that and where do you do it? Is it all in PowerPoint?
That is a great question. I want to dive so deep into this next week. I'm going to give you a
Okay.
sneak peek and it's going to be so fun. Okay, you're seeing my screen right now. I don't have to. Okay. So the designs look really, really cool. I cannot come up with these. This is a design from last week. I can't come up with these designs on my own. I'm not that creative. These are really cool. Here's what me and Aini do. We go on Google and we search for PowerPoint templates. And then we click on one of these. And then we look through all these little templates that already have these really, really cool designs. Like, oh, maybe this one would be good for church. Someone already designed these free slides that have a lot of designs already built into there, and download them for free. And when we download them, we start editing them to fit our Sunday services. We don't want a lady eating a watermelon, so I might delete that picture. Maybe I'll kind of change the font to be different so that it kind of fits our lyrics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we start off with the majority of these really cool designs. And then we just tweak it accordingly so that we have this little box that fits our lyrics. We make sure it doesn't go on the right edge of the screen in case that's where people's gallery view is at. We change the font size. We paste in the Chinese words. We can change some of these images so that they're different from song to song. Let me find another song. Yeah, this song would have this image, another song would have another image.
Uh-huh.
Here are the leftover slides from the pre-built template that we did not use, that we kind of start from. So for example, Aini designed this one. She would take this and she would make a second copy of this and she would say like, I don't need an iPad, I don't need this. But I like these little geometric things in the back corner, so I'm going to use this for lyrics and start typing lyrics. And this will be the song title. So this is how we would kind of start doing this.
Uh-huh.
Something like that. So that's a sneak peek as to the majority of the PowerPoint designing process. Start with something that's already pre-built and looks really cool, and go from there.
How much time does it take to design every week?
Yeah, last week, sometimes we look for a new design, a new template, and then use that for quite a few weeks. Last week, Aini did this one, and we kind of timed her. She's gotten a lot better at it because we've been doing this for a little bit. She took about an hour and a half to create this new template that will be used continuously. After this initial template for our Sundays are made, on a next Sunday, it would take maybe half an hour. All we need to do is copy and paste the new lyrics. We change the verse, the Bible verses. We just delete what's on the joys and concerns, you know? So the skeleton is already made. We just have to refill it in with just the parts that need to change from week to week.
So Thomas, when you, what's the biggest challenge that you have each week? Is it to be able to type in joys and concerns as soon as possible?
Sometimes I do miss the biggest, that would be the second one. Really, it's not that difficult. Well, I want to say it's not that difficult for me overall but then I do recognize that I grew up doing a lot of PowerPoint, so I can use this software really intuitively. The most difficult thing is to make sure that the lyrics fit in the slide at a size that's as big as possible, especially the Chinese lyrics, because they're by nature a lot harder to see and read. So designing these text boxes so that they can fit. Sometimes the text boxes are, the font size is too big. And then I have to design it and then make sure it's consistent for the rest of the song. Make sure that the Chinese is okay. Sometimes the Chinese words are a little too long, longer than the English words. I experimented with putting them side by side, left and right. I experimented with putting them up and down, and I think up and down works really well. Every once in a while, I'll notice a little bit something weird with the Chinese words. Like, hey, these Chinese words are the same as the Chinese words in the past one. That's not right because the English words should be different. So I have to go on like Google Translate website and then kind of understand what the Chinese words are actually saying. Oh, they're actually fitting this other one. Tracy just put it in the wrong place for when she sent it to me. Sometimes the other most difficult thing is for the first Sunday of every month, we have scripture in Chinese. And I don't like to put all the scripture into one slide because it's too cramped. So as someone reads the Chinese, I have to follow along and notice when they say the word yet, one, or human, and try to follow along every 10 characters that I recognize with my limited understanding of Chinese. So I'm like, okay, this one is ta yao something something. Okay, they're on the last line. Now I need to go to the next slide. And then I hear Lei Mun, whatever. And then it's like, okay, I got it right. That's the most difficult thing to do. That's the most difficult part. But otherwise, it's just being very attentive during service when the next lyric slide has to go on, because sometimes I'm singing, sometimes I'm answering a chat box, and then sometimes I forget to go to the next slide in the middle of the song. So all that is kind of before the difficulties before Sunday and the difficulties during Sunday.
Yeah, you just have to learn some more Chinese words, Tom. A few more.
Yeah.
This is like all us ABCs here, you know. Recognize what we can.
Yeah.
There's no yumpy, you know?
And you have to yum too. You have to yum the words.
I can tell you one of his challenges also is from the musicians. As you know, you're looking at doing these things ahead of time, but the musicians tend to send things in anywhere from 4 to 5 o'clock in the morning, just before service starts. So he actually has to put these things in at that time before, you know, when he wakes, between when he wakes up and when service starts. And it's not just the file that he has to put in, but very often that we find out that there are edits that need to be made to the PowerPoint, because the song that we record and the PowerPoint may not be exactly the same.
Then we'll have to start giving them penalties for late entries.
Actually,
Hey,
the musicians do
you should cut the salary in half. Then they won't mind.
I don't think people realize how much work it is for the musicians to actually put together the songs on
That's
Sunday.
true. Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like, you know, because besides
I have
just
another
playing
question.
yeah,
Go ahead,
It must
Jerome, first, finish up Jerome, and then Edmund.
Sorry.
Question.
I was gonna say,
Finish.
besides just playing the song correctly, most of them add their singing to it, right? So like Carrie sings all 4 parts, so he actually has to do things 5 times to just get the basics, along with anything else he wants to add to that. The same for Craig and JJ. It's a lot of work.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
sure they must have to practice almost every day.
Yeah.
I suggest people come to about 3 or 4 of the Deltone rehearsals. Hey, you learn some stuff too.
It took us 2 weeks, Ben.
Edmund, last question, Edmund.
Oh, it's, well, the thing is, at least Zoom, you don't have the singing group coming up to you. Oh, I want to change the lyrics. Oh, I want to repeat this.
Yeah. No.
I notice that Jake sometimes says the Lord's Prayer differently than what's on the PowerPoint.
He says it by memory sometimes, and his eyes are closed.
No, he says
About-
forever and ever twice. That's why.
Yeah,
Well, no,
he
there's
always
some-
says forever and ever twice. Also, about 3 weeks ago, he skipped 2 lines of the Lord's Prayer.
That's
And
the
one
shortened version.
And one time he used trespasses instead of debtors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, the
all
thing
of
is,
a sudden,
depends what
he
version of
went
the
back to
Bible you read.
Catholicism.
Yeah.
No,
That's
even the Methodists use
interchangeable.
trespasses.
Thomas, can you fix those things?
On the fly. No, I just let it go. But I also remember some things that you might not see is sometimes he'll skip over slides, or he might do this first instead of that later. So I just skip straight to that slide in when that happens. So I'm always listening and seeing what he's prompting to do next. Sometimes I'll have the offering slide up, but he doesn't say it, and that's okay. I just, from this slide, I skip 2 slides in front. Again, kind of like what I showed you, where you kind of see all the slides and just choose that slide to go directly to. Just be attentive and know when to be ready to start screen sharing. Which brings up one last point. As Jake is talking or someone's giving the scripture or prayer, I will, as they're finishing and I know the song's about to start, I press screen share and I have that ready. Let me screen share myself again. What are you looking at? Wait a minute. Screen share. Okay, you're looking at okay, good. So while someone is, let's say they're talking about, they're finishing up. Okay, so we did the prelude, finished the prelude, and I stopped screen sharing. People are saying the opening prayer, opening welcome and everything, and then I have to get ready to screen share again. So I'll go to the next slide, and I will have my screen share window open. They're gonna conclude as they're concluding their prayer, I'm already prepared to start screen sharing. And then Jake will start saying, now we're gonna do this song. Here I am to worship. He'll say some things about, and I'm ready. I'm almost pressing the share button. Now Thomas will go ahead and like screen share, and then boom. And then I have that all set up already. So I'm not waiting until he tells me to start screen sharing, then I start bringing up all this dialogue. No, I already have this open and ready as people are talking. When I'm not screen sharing, if we're talking, I have this window open and ready in preparation for it. Yep. Great. That concludes our class for today. Thanks, everyone.
I think Frank had a question.
Frank, ask.
Oh, it's not really relevant. Edmund mentioned he had a few TVs lying around. I just wondered if we've had an 80-inch high def lying around.
Okay, 3D television. I'll take one of those too. I need another one.
Oh yeah, you should. Oh, you know what? My 8K.
So next week we're gonna have
100-inch.
We'll have another meeting next week, another class focused on creating PowerPoints. During the week, if you can go ahead and just play around with your Zoom. You can just start your own Zoom room and just play around with it on your own. Try it out. Play around with. You can have your laptop doing a Zoom room and join using your phone, so you can start messing around on your computer and see what it looks like on the second device. Next week, we're going to focus a lot on creating PowerPoints, how to design them, how to make it so it's easy to edit, and how to set it up for future editing. A lot of tips and tricks in general for using PowerPoint that's applicable to, again, to work and to school. After next week, we're going to take either we'll finish these classes next week because I don't know what else to show yet. But we will definitely not have class for the next 2 weeks after that. if classes need to continue, but maybe next week will be the last one for now. But next class should be the kind of current conclusion of these classes until another topic comes up.
Okay.
After next week, you'll be no classes until whenever you want to start up, right?
Yeah, unless there's more questions or other stuff to teach about.
Oh, I have another question.
It's new classes on something else.
Yeah. Remember the all the slides that you pick, was that from Sligo?
Yes, that was the website that I randomly searched. When I searched for PowerPoint templates, that was the first link that showed up. You can choose any of them and take a look.
Thank you.
Benny.
Thomas, you mentioned about using your cell phone as a second monitor. Is that what you were talking about?
No, I mentioned my cell phone as a second device, as an audience device. The purpose is sometimes I need to test something. Does the sound come off okay? I don't have a second laptop, but I do have a cell phone and a laptop, and my cell phone is my audience to test out what's going on. Yep. Good. Keep asking me questions now and also in the emails through the week too. Jerome?
So next time, can you send actually the meeting and password as separate items? Because I don't use the browser. I actually use the application. So actually, I'm curious if anyone else is using the application, the Zoom application, because that actually gives you a lot more options.
I am using the application
in the browser.
And when I click the link in my email, it automatically opens up the application and joins this room without having to also type in a password.
Yeah, that's when you have to join, which I did join, but that was going to be my next question. Thanks, Jerome. As you link, when I came on with you, an hour ago, my Zoom application came up, so I guess it automatically picks it up when I go, because I took your Zoom information from the email, but it picked up my application as I was joining you.
But I think Jerome is interested in only using the application without opening the browser. So if he had the link, the code and the password, he can save it on his application, and you don't have to open the browser.
Good point.
Correct?
Because
I figured it out, but it's easier if it's actually typed in there separately. But it's just that I do know that the browser view versus the application view is quite different.
It is quite different. And I was under the understanding that if you click on the link in your browser, you can open it in your browser or have it automatically open your application. So if it automatically opens in your browser, then there's a setting that needs to be changed to kind of reset it and tell it, okay, there's also an application installed. Did you want to open in the browser or the application? And then you can re-choose. Automatically open it up in the application. From your browser, automatically open that link in the application, and it automatically joins this room without having to type in anything.
Well, there's an advantage of having just the application on, because if let's say you have a computer with very little memory, RAM, or you have a very slow connection, having your browser on and your Zoom on takes up more resources. So like on my tablet, when I was up in the Casadero, I had to only use Zoom and close everything else because the uplink was 0.01 megabits per second upload.
But Jerome, you don't have a slow computer or a slow internet speed, so look for the setting to kind of allow the browser, the link in your email browser, to automatically open up the application. But I'll try to find that information for you, Jerome. But yeah, thanks everyone.
Hey, bye. Megan.
Okay, thank
Bye,
you,
Susie.
Thomas.
Thank
See
you.
Hey,
Thank
Thomas,
you.
Okay,
one
Thomas,
more
thank
question.
you.
Yes.
You mentioned all the applications, like all the applications that we get, like for instance, Andy has an application for the council, then there's the application, Zoom for service, then there's our Wednesday group and stuff like that. Can I load all that into my Zoom application and just automatically click it in when I need to?
That's a good question that I'm not familiar about. Just to kind of in the application have like a list of like, I want to go into this meeting, I want to go into this meeting. I don't know. I can find out. I don't know because I always just go back to the email in my browser and just click the link every single time. And I found that for me is the easiest. And for sharing it to everyone in general is also the easiest.
Yeah.
But there's probably a way to save those rooms in your application to just rejoin that one, rejoin that one, rejoin that one. Alternatively, you can have you have built-in software so you can just copy and paste text. So you can just paste the link for the council meeting, paste the link for a Wednesday hangout, and then when you need to, just paste that text into your browser, and that'll automatically open up Zoom. A little bit kind of a workaround, but the idea is just I like to use just the link itself instead of the application, but I bet there's a way to do it that I'm not sure about. Good question.
Thank you.
Okay.
Christina was saying just make it a favorite in your browser.
A favorite in your browser, a bookmark or a favorite in your browser. That's another way to save it.
Thomas. Did you get tomorrow's scripture yet? For worship?
I did not really look at it yet.
Oh, okay. If you did, could you send it to me?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll send it to you if I get it. I did not get it yet.
Okay.
So I have a question, but it's not related to today's session, but it's related to Zoom. So I can do it afterward. Also, just a comment on Edmund's monitors. You know, probably a lot of his monitors do not have HDMI if they've been lying around for a while. So just to let you guys know that.
VGA.
I was talking about monitors.
What?
Not TVs. I was talking about TV monitors. So they may not have HDMI. Yeah.
Maybe they have RCA.
So you know you're not going to be able to connect them very well, or they won't look very good. Just in general.
Yeah.
So Thomas, I just had a non-related question, but you know I do record, and so when I run out of room, it does not translate it into the MP4s. It says you need to do it later on, but I couldn't figure out how to do it later on. So is there some kind of is in a Zoom file, and it says you're supposed to. Well, I don't know. So you record some of your services, and they become MP4 files automatically all the time?
Yes, I try to have enough space, and then it saves as MP4 files. I do know in the settings, it says like when you're recording, there's one checkbox that says recorded so that it's compatible, more compatible with third-party video editors. I do check that one. And I think that makes it into a better MP4 file.
Well, it's just because I don't have enough space. It did not convert, and it says convert later. So when I free up the space, I couldn't figure out how to convert it still. So for instance, the PAM Music Festival that Dick wants, they're not all converted to MP4 yet, but I couldn't figure out how to do that. So if you run into that, tell me how to do that. I'm still searching unconverted files back into MP4.
You're right that I would just be Googling the same thing and trying to see.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
Yep.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, that's a big thing to run out of storage. So every once in a while, I take all my Zoom recordings, which are like gigabytes and gigabytes, and I put it in an external hard drive. And it clears up all the space in my laptop.
So I'm doing it one at a time because the Audacity, which I use for the recording, also takes up a lot of room.
That's right.
So every week I'm just moving them. If I don't move it in time, oh, I'm running out of space.
I don't know how mobile you are, but if you have external, you can leave it plugged in and edit them directly use Audacity and connect it to this instead of in your laptop. And you can also record directly onto this instead of into your laptop and then transfer if you're running out of room that day. It might be a little slower, but it'll work.
So Craig, if you put everything under a folder, like I put everything under like the folder by date, you should be able to move the folder into your external drive, and then you don't have to do things one by one.
So of course, each week does have its own folder, but I just haven't figured out how to convert it back into the MP4. That's all.
From the unfinished Zoom recording into a finished Zoom recording. That's an MP4 that's viewable. I don't know. Good question.
See you guys later. Take care. See you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Thomas. Bye.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks, Thomas.
Bye.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Being here.
Frank, did you hear that comment?
What?
Christina has a message
From Carol.
from Carol, and the answer is yes.
He's here. Thank you, Christina.
Take care, gang. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. So it's time for me to start to go record now.
Don't stay up too late. All right.
Okay. Thank
Have a good
you.
day. Bye.
Bye.